Hi, Lisa Cantalupo here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a leather flower easily using one of my leather flower making kits. In your kit will be cardstock flower templates. You get a nice big piece of leather and stiffening agent to mold your leather petals. I'm arranging the cardstock templates in such a way to conserve leather, just in case I want to add more petals to make a larger flower. Once you have the cardboard templates laid out, it's time to trace them. I used a pen, but you can use a white charcoal pencil or tailor's chalk or whatever it is that you prefer. And now it's time to cut. I'm using a very sharp pair of scissors. They're not necessarily leather crafting scissors, but they're just sharp enough to get through the lambskin leather, which is what I am using. Because I did trace around the templates, there are obviously pen marks. I am trying to cut inside those pen marks, but if you can't, don't fret, because you can always go back and trim them up before we get to the molding part. The cutting process took me about 10 to 15 minutes to complete, so I'm going to speed up this video to the next step. For this next step, you will need a mallet, a hole punch, and a pounding board. You'll need to use the paper clip that was included in your flower making kit. Once you have the petals all cut out, it's time to arrange them in a staggered formation, lining up the two center holes as you go. If you need a visual of this, you can check out this video here. This is where you're going to need the stiffening agent that came with your kit. Make sure you shake that up good. And you want to make sure you spray each and every layer, and you want to get it good and wet. As you can see, I have a tray underneath my flower so as to not make a big mess, and I highly recommend that you do this. I'm going to speed up this part of the video just a little bit. What I'm doing here is I am pinching the leather and twisting it in between my fingers. It's a little tricky to do with the smaller sized flower petals. It's much easier to do with the larger ones. And I also recommend that you have like a paper towel or some cloth to kind of wipe off your fingers in between. It's a little bit messy. And it gets harder to do if your fingers are too wet. If they're also too dry, it's also a little bit harder to do. This part of the process took about 10 minutes. I'm going to fast forward a bit till we get to the bigger petals so you can get a better glimpse at the technique. The larger petals are so much easier to mold, but they also tend to dry out a little bit because of the time it takes to get to them. So you're going to have to dip your fingers into the stiffening agent or respray a little bit just to get them a little bit moist and malleable so you can shape and mold them. I started making these flowers about 20 or so years ago. I think the first one I made was for a headband. And through the years, I have perfected the technique. And what I found works best with these larger petals is to twist the leather between my fingers and roll it and scrunch it up as I go. I'm going to speed up this video so we can get to the end part of this process. Even though I was making my way towards the larger petals of the flowers, I still had to go back and readjust the smaller petals. It really is a work of art. You have to kind of make adjustments as you are creating and pinching and rolling and having fun. I think I said 2 times that I'm ready to let this dry. It's very easy to get caught up in trying to make this perfect, but it's almost impossible to do. You can just keep tweaking it and fluffing it and pinching it, but eventually you just need to say, okay, it's done. I'm going to speed up the video now to get to the next step. Drying time will differ depending upon your climate and how wet the flower ends up being. And I have so many projects on my table that I usually just let the flowers sit there while I work on something else. Sometimes they even sit overnight before I'm able to get to the next part. And once dry, take this. I am using a needle for this with a wide eye. Needle, string, and you can go into those same holes. I did add some stiffening agent to these 2 ties. And what I'm doing is I'm just twirling them, shape them into something that would resemble stamen. And I want to speed this up. And here I am fluffing up some of the petals of the flower. But this is the final step in the making of a leather flower. I'm going to speed this up to the end so you can see the final piece. And here is the final piece. I purchased these nifty little alligator clips on Amazon, and I thought they'd be perfect for gluing onto the back of my flowers. Thought they'd be cute little shoe clips, or I could clip this onto a purse or scarf. And for this, I'm just using some hot melt glue. If you'd like to purchase a leather flower making kit, I will post the link in the video description. I hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions you have, make sure you put them in the comments for me. I do read them and I'll answer best I can. If you like this video, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any future tutorials on how to craft with leather. Please like, share, subscribe, tweet, whatever it is you cool folks do, and I'll see you next time. For more DIY leather crafting tips and tricks, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that bell to be notified when new videos are released. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.